You hit the water before you even know you've let go. It isn't graceful. It isn't cinematic. It's like getting slammed into a wall that happens to be made of liquid. The surface doesn't give right away. It punches back. Your chest takes it. Your jaw snaps shut. And the cold is a fist that reaches straight through your clothes and into your bones. Your mouth opens on instinct to scream, but you get water instead. Salt, oil, cold, night. Before we go further, tell me something. Where are you listening from? And what time is it where you are? Because here, in this water, it's after midnight, and the ship behind you is dying and taking everybody with it. You don't have time to answer. Your sinuses are on fire. The water goes up your nose, into the back of your throat. You gag under the surface, and the cold shocks every muscle into a full body clench. Your eyes open in black water, and all you see are streaks of light from above, bent and broken, orange against blue-green. Lanterns, deck lights, maybe fire. And then a shadow bigger than everything else. The ship. Still there, still towering, still coming apart. You kick because that's what the body does when it thinks it's drowning. Your boots are heavy, skirt and coat dragging, pockets full. You didn't think to empty them. And the cold makes your legs feel like someone else's. You can't tell which way is up for a second. There's a pulse in the water, a pull, like the sea itself is inhaling. Somewhere behind you, metal screams underwater, a deep, animal kind of sound, and the whole Atlantic seems to suck inward. You break the surface hard, coughing, gagging, eyes burning. The air isn't relief. It's just more cold. You can't even get a full breath on the first try. You gasp in half a lung of air and half a lung of mist, and somebody's elbow hits you in the side of the head because there are people everywhere. Heads, arms, faces white in the starlight, people shouting for boats that aren't there. Your hair is in your eyes. You push it back with hands that already don't want to work. The cold is so loud, it's like sound. Your heart is slamming. Your teeth are trying to chatter, but they can't yet. Everything's too locked. Above you. No, behind you. The stern is still up, too high, like some giant is holding it by the spine. Lights flicker along the railings. You hear voices on board still, orders maybe, or prayers. A lifeboat rope creaks somewhere in the dark. The ship is wrong. Ships aren't supposed to be vertical. For a second, you just stare, because all the drawings, all the bragging, all the talk about watertight compartments, none of it looks like this. Then something huge hits the water, not far from you. A funnel, a davit, a piece of deckhouse, and the wave shoves you sideways, like you weigh nothing. You go under again. This time you're ready for it, but that doesn't matter. The cold eats every thought. Your ears pop. You taste metal, oil, paint, seawater. Somebody's boot brushes your shoulder under the surface, a dead weight falling. You try to push off them, to get back up, and for a second you think, God, I'm stepping on someone. And then the Atlantic pulls in a different direction. Suction, that's what it is. The ship is still going down, and it's pulling the water with it, and the water is pulling you. You kick hard. Your chest is burning now. You blow out a little air to see bubbles so you can find up. A trick you didn't know you knew. And follow them. Your coat snags on something below. Rope, or wood, or a piece of railing. And panic goes white hot through your whole body. You yank, twist, hear fabric tear. Your lungs spasm. You think, not here, not right here, not 10 seconds after. You break the surface again, louder this time. a real scream with it, choked off by coughing. The night air slices your throat. Voices are everywhere, layered. High, low, British, Irish, American. Men calling boat. Boat. Women screaming my baby. In accents stretched thin with terror. Someone is praying in French. Someone is singing. Actually singing. Voice cracking with cold. Help. Here. H-E-R-E. You turn toward it without meaning to. That's what people do. They turn toward voices. The water between you and them is full of floating things. Deck chairs, planks, a trunk turned on its side. Somebody's hat, somebody's... Is that a dog? No, just fur. Everything is drifting and bobbing, getting in your way. You push through, swallowing more water than air, throat raw, fingers already stinging. You grab for the nearest thing that looks solid. A broken section of wooden grating, maybe from the deck, and your hands just slide right off because it's soaked and slick. You try again, harder, nails scraping. This time, you get an edge. You cling. The wood is so cold, it might as well be made of ice. Your fingers don't like it. They curl slowly, slower than you tell them to. You pull your chest up, get your chin out of the water, and hang there, gasping. Your legs float behind you, heavy and numb. The rest of you is still in the sea. The sea is still winning. You look back over your shoulder. Titanic is enormous, even while she's dying. It's wrong that something that big can be that helpless. You can see the name on the stern, tilted, half in water spray. Letters that launched 1,000 bragging articles, now sliding toward the Atlantic. You hear the final groan. You'll never forget it. The sound of an iron spine giving up. Then the lights go. Not all at once, not like a switch. They flicker, stutter, some stay, some don't. It makes the whole scene worse, like the ship is trying to stay awake and can't. There's a moment, a single moment, where everybody in the water seems to understand at the same time. No one's getting back on that. Whatever was left of orderly is over. Your jaw starts to chatter now. Not cute, not polite. Deep hard, like your bones are knocking together. You can't stop it. You try to say, help, and it comes out, he, because your mouth won't shape the word. Your breath is fogging in front of you. Actual fog, over the sea. And that pisses you off for a second, because how can you be making warm breath if you're this cold? A man swims past you, or tries to. He's older, big overcoat, cap gone. His lips are already blue. He's panting in short animal bursts. Boat, he says, voice breaking. Boat. He sees your piece of wreckage and reaches for it like it's his, like you're not even there. No, you manage, and you try to pull it closer, but your arms are slow and stupid. He gets a hand on it anyway. The extra weight tips it. Water washes over your chest. You let out an undignified, furious, cold-sliced sound. Get your own. You spit, which is rude for this situation, but your survival brain is not polite. He sees your face, sees how little you have to stand on, and he actually lets go. Not because he's kind, because he knows it won't hold both. He pushes away, panting. God help us, he says, and you can't tell if it's to you or to himself. Send the boats back. Someone screams. It's a woman, high-born by the sound of her. Vowels long even while drowning. They must come back. They must. Her voice cuts off, swallowed by a wave or a piece of wreckage. You twist toward the darkness where the lifeboats went. You can't see them. They're out there. You know they are. Little hunks of wood and canvas with room, with blankets, with officers telling people to sit still and keep quiet. You heard the arguments while you were still on board. You saw the half-full boats go down. It hits you now, late and sharp. They could be here. They're not. Something big hits the water again, farther off. Maybe the last funnel. This time, you see it happen in silhouette. A huge dark shape, tearing free, pivoting, falling slow and heavy like a building. And then the splash that follows is taller than a house. People near it vanish. You feel the wave from it a moment later, rolling under you, lifting you and your plank up and slamming you back down. Your teeth hit wood. You taste blood. The smell is wrong for the sea. Oil, coal smoke, wet wood, cold iron. You hear popping from somewhere on the ship. Steam lines, maybe. You hear a distant staccato that might still be the Marconi room. Someone sending CQD or SOS to a night that might not answer. Your fingers hurt, then they don't. That's the first really bad sign. At first, the cold is nothing but pain. Your hands ache, your arms burn, your feet feel like they're being stabbed. But then, just like that, the pain backs off. Not because you're getting warm, but because the nerves are giving up. You watch your hand on the wood, see your fingers there like pale little animals, but they don't feel like yours. You try to pull yourself further up to get more of your torso out of the water. Your elbows don't want to bend. Your shoulders feel thick. You grunt with the effort, face right against the wood, wet hair freezing to your cheek. All around you, voices are thinning. At first, it was a roar. A crowd spilled into the ocean, hundreds all at once. But minutes pass. Not many, maybe 5, maybe 7. And your ears start to notice the gaps. One less scream, one less help, one less child crying. Cold water is efficient. It doesn't hit everyone the same, but it hits everyone. A boy, maybe 14, is on a board not far from you. His coat is too big for him. He's breathing fast, eyes wide on the sky. "Ma," he calls, not loud, like he's trying to find her in a crowd after church. "May?" There's no answer. You want to tell him to save his breath. You want to tell him to kick, to keep his legs moving. That's what keeps the blood going. But your jaw is too busy. Your voice is a mess. You settle for keep moving. And you don't even know if he hears. The stars are offensive. That's the word that comes to mind. The sky is clear, brilliantly clear. That kind of North Atlantic night, where the Milky Way looks close enough to scoop. You can see every star, every cold point of light. It makes the whole scene worse, because it's beautiful, and this isn't. Your breath starts to come slower. Not calmer, just slower. Your body is doing math without you. We can't do this. We'll have to do less. You hear someone near you mumbling scripture. Yea, though I walk through the valley, the voice is shaking, teeth knocking the words out of order. Someone else says, "Shut up, let a man die in peace," and you would laugh if you had the energy. Closer to the ship, there's still motion. You can see people climbing down ropes, dropping straight into the water. One woman goes in holding her skirts up. Habit, even now, and vanishes. A man jumps clear off the stern, arms over his head like he's diving off a pier in summer. He hits and doesn't come back up. You think of all the cabins you walked past earlier in the night. Warm, lit, full of carpets and tales of New York. You think of the band. Are they still playing? You strain to hear it. For a second, through the wind and the water and the distant screaming, You think you do hear something. Not nearer, my God, to thee, like the papers will love to print, but something waltz-like, stubborn, a civilized sound over barbaric cold. Maybe you imagine it. Maybe they really did play until the tilt made it impossible. Your arms are so tired. You look down and see that your legs have sunk. They're not kicking anymore. They just trail behind you in the dark, like they belong to somebody drowned. You try to lift one. It rises slow, heavy, like it's made of sandbags. The boot is stiff. You can't feel your toes at all. Somewhere out to starboard. You think starboard, but directions don't mean much now. Someone is still shouting. Is anyone there? Is anyone alive? It's a man's voice, insistent. He's close enough that you can hear the panic under the officer training. Keep together, he calls. Keep together, lads. You can't see him for the dark and the spray. Boat, someone else calls, weaker. Boat, come back. Your mind is slowing down to match your body. Thoughts stretch. You start thinking in single ideas instead of sentences. Cold. Boat. Breathe. Hold. Watch. You watch the ship because it's something big to look at. The stern, still up, starts to shift. Not quickly, but definitely. It angles a little more toward the vertical. There's a cracking noise you feel through the water, not just here, then. And this is the part no one will believe unless they were here. The whole stern seems to settle, like a person taking a last breath before going under. It goes dark, piece by piece. You realize you're crying when the tears freeze at the corners of your eyes. Your fingers slip, not because the wood is slick, because your grip is gone. You yank them back in place. You set your cheek against the plank, breathing hard, lips numb. Your tongue feels too big for your mouth. You lick your lips and taste salt and blood and the sourness of fear. You tell yourself, stay awake. You tell yourself, kick. You tell yourself, boats will come. But the realest voice, the meanest, most accurate voice, says, you hit the North Atlantic in April in nothing but clothes and arrogance. You have minutes, not hours, minutes. And the water doesn't care how good your intentions were. Good. Staying in the body, staying in the water, no drifting off to memories. You tell yourself to keep your eyes on something fixed. The ship, the stars, the smoke. Because the dark water right next to your face keeps trying to hypnotize you. It rolls and dips and flashes, and every time your head bobs down, your body says, just stay there, it's easier. You can't let that happen. You blink hard, clear the ice from your lashes, and look for movement. There's less of it. A man who was shouting for his wife 2 minutes ago is now just breathing loud. You can hear his breaths, wet, ragged, getting smaller. He's close, maybe 6, 8 feet away, clinging to a chunk of door. You can tell he wants to call her name again, but the cold is making him choose, breathe, or talk. He chooses breathe. His head tips forward, chin to chest. You watch his fingers loosen, then tighten again when a wave hits him. Another wave hits you too, and you gasp. The air above the water is almost as bad as the water. It burns the inside of your nose, freezes in your throat. You cough, and that hurts. Your ribs didn't like the impact. Breathing is going to cost you now. Somebody farther off is still in the fighting stage. Splashing too big, wasting energy. You can hear it. Slap, slap, slap. That's not swimming. That's panic. You know without seeing them that they're not going to last long at that rate. The cold doesn't just steal heat. It steals control. The more you thrash, the faster it takes you. Keep still, someone croaks. Keep still, conserve Earth. His voice fades on the last word, like a battery running out. You shift your grip on the plank. Your fingers don't feel the wood, but they move. You hook your wrist over it instead. Better leverage, less fingerwork. The skin on your wrist complains where it touches the frozen wet surface. You ignore it. Your legs float behind you, useless, feet dragging. You think about kicking to keep blood moving, but when you try, the signal from your brain takes too long to get there. Your feet twitch instead of kick. You settle for bending your knees a little, then straightening, just to prove you still can. A body bumps you from behind. Not hard, just a slow drifting contact. You flinch anyway. You turn your head and see a woman's hat first, then her hair floating, then her face, eyes half open, mouth open wider. Her dress is pulling her down, but something, a life belt, a snagged piece of wood, is keeping her at the surface for now. The water rocks her gently, like it doesn't know it killed her. Sorry, you whisper, which is ridiculous, but you can't help it. You nudge her away with your shoulder. Even that small push makes your arm muscles protest. Your strength is going fast. Somewhere behind you, the ship lets out another noise. Deeper than before, farther away. Not a crack, not a shout. More like a long exhale through metal lungs. You crane your neck to look and realize the stern isn't towering anymore. It's lower. The angle is less dramatic. It's sinking out of sight. The part of you that believed rescue might come from the ship understands now that the ship is gone. What's left of the people near where the stern used to be are closer together, a dark patch on the water. Some of them are still calling, "Help, boat, over here." But the calls don't have the shape of expectation anymore. They're automatic. People saying what people say. You hear an officer's whistle, shrill, determined. It sounds small in all this cold. A wave slaps your cheek. The wind has picked up a little, just enough to move the surface into short, choppy peaks. Every time your face goes into it, the cold digs deeper. Your lips are getting slow. You breathe through your mouth now, because your nose is useless. Your tongue feels thick. To your left, the boy in the too big coat is still there. He's not yelling for his mother anymore. He's breathing fast through his teeth. You hear the air whistle. It's so cold, he says to nobody, voice cracking. It's so cold. He starts to paddle toward you, one-handed, other arm hooked on his board. Stay. Where? You manage. You don't want him to grab your plank and dunk you both. He blinks at you, eyes glassy in the starlight. Can't feel. Means rub 'em on. Your coat, you say, jaw clicking, armpits. He looks down, tries. His fingers don't close. He rubs anyway, shoulder to chest in a pathetic slow motion. You can hear the fabric scrape wet against wet. Another voice, farther off, they'll come. They have to come. It's an argument with the dark, with the rich people in the lifeboats, with the officers. They can't leave us. The last word falls into the water as the speaker goes under or just runs out of breath. You notice now that between shouts there are long stretches of nothing but water noise. Slap, gurgle, small waves tapping debris. That sound is getting louder because the human noise is getting less. It's not that the sea got louder, it's that the people stopped. A man starts praying again, louder this time, maybe to stay awake. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour. He stops after an hour, like he heard his own words and realized this is it. Your breathing is different now. You're doing little inhales, not big ones. It's not that you don't want big ones, you just can't make them. Your chest feels like it has a belt around it. The cold water around your ribs is stealing the heat right out of your blood as it passes. Your heart has to work harder to pump. You can actually feel it, a dull, heavy thud in your chest. Not the healthy drum from before. Slower, thick. Your skin tightens on your face. You know that feeling when you've been outside too long in winter and your cheeks go wooden. Except this is your whole body. Your ears ache. Your scalp aches. The hair at your temples is starting to go stiff where the water is freezing. You shift your weight again, trying to get your forearms more onto the plank. One arm responds, the other lags. You growl, low in your throat, angry at yourself, angry at the water, angry at the officers who didn't fill the boats, angry at the ship designer, angry at the cold, angry at the stars, angry at the ever decided April was safe. Anger warms you for half a second, then it's gone. A piece of wreckage drifts by, a deck chair turned on its side. A man lunges for it, misses, curses. Another man farther out actually manages to get over the side of one and lie on it chest first, like you are on your board. You hear him sigh, a long relieved sound. Then you hear him start to whimper because getting out of the water means the air can freeze you faster. Something knocks the bottom of your foot. You jerk and look down, expecting another body. It's not. It's a chunk of ice or wood. You can't tell. Your foot didn't feel it. You only knew because it moved your leg. That scares you more than the bodies. You splash your foot weakly, trying to get blood there. Nothing. Your boot floats up again, toes downward like they're trying to stand on the seafloor. You tell yourself, don't look at your feet. Look at the horizon. Look at the ship. Look anywhere else. Farther away, out where the lifeboats went, you finally hear one clearly. Wood creaking, oars in oarlocks, a man's voice giving orders. Pull. Together. Pull. It's small and maddening. They're not coming toward you. They're pulling away, keeping safe from the suction, from the desperate, from you. A woman hears it too. Boat! She screams, voice shredding on the word. Boat, come back. She tries to wave an arm and only gets it halfway out of the water before it flops. There are children? She calls. There are. She coughs hard and chokes on water. Her head goes under. She comes back up sputtering, hair over her face. Please, she gasps, please. The boat does not change direction. You listen harder. You listen the way you used to listen for your name in a crowd. You want to hear oars turning toward you, water slapping a hole closer. Officers saying, all right then, we'll go back. You don't. You just hear the steady, efficient rhythm of people who are not freezing to death. Your board dips. You yank it back. That takes more strength than it should. You pant. Your lips don't close right afterward. They hang open a little. You lick them again. Your breath steams. Someone starts to moan. Not words. A low, rising, falling sound. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, the kind of sound a person makes when they're past language and the body is just broadcasting hurt. It goes on for a bit, then fades. You don't hear them again. The boy is closer now. Not because he swam, because you both drifted. Mister, he whispers. Even if you're probably not a mister. Mister, I'm so cold. So, you say. Your voice sounds like someone else's. High, shaky, not the one you think you have in your head. Keep your head up. He nods, like that was helpful. His teeth are chattering so hard, it makes his whole head shake. He tries to spit water out and can't aim it. It just dribbles down his chin and freezes there in the wind. Your shoulders start to ache in a deep, slow way. Not muscle ache, joint ache. The cold is getting into the sockets. You roll one shoulder, then the other, to keep them moving. The plank squeaks under you. You realize if you let yourself go limp now, the water will roll you, and you won't have the strength to right yourself. Keep awake, you mutter. You don't know if you mean the boy or you. The ship is mostly gone now. There's still debris. There's still people. But the big, lit, titled shape that dominated everything is sliding into memory, even as you watch. Where there was towering black against the sky, there's now just night and steam. The steam hangs low over the water like a ghost. White, moving, curling. It hisses. You can hear it. Hot meeting cold. The last warmth of the ship dying in the air. You hear one last high-pitched scream. Not fear, pain. Sharp. Then nothing from that direction. The officer's whistle blows twice more, bravely, pointlessly. The water around you has more space now. Less bumping. Less grabbing. The bodies that were floating upright are tilting. Faces are going sideways, hair spreading. Arms that were clinging are sliding off. The sounds are down to a handful of voices, some sobbing, some praying, some just breathing loud. Your own breathing is loud. You hear it in your head, in and not quite out, in and not quite out. You want to take a deep one, just to prove you can. But when you try, the chest muscles won't expand. You get a half breath. You cough. That hurts your ribs. Your ribs hurt your breath. It's a bad loop. You try to move your toes again. Nothing. You try to ball your hands into fists on the wood. One does. The other doesn't. Move, you tell it. Angry now. Voice a hiss. Move. The hand twitches, then lies there. The wind shifts again, and you catch more of the ocean's real smell under all the ship smell. Clean, huge, empty. It makes the human noise seem small, like a party that spilled into the hall and is now being told to go home. Somebody out there starts singing again. Same man as before, maybe. Voice thin, wavering. You catch a line. Nearer, my God, to thee. And then he stops, either because he forgot the words or because his mouth stopped working. The tune hangs in the air for a second like breath in winter, and then fades. You are shaking. Not little shivers. Big, full body, muscle spasm shakes. Your board thumps against the water when your chest jerks. You can't stop it. That's your body's last real defense. Burn what's left of the fuel to make heat. When that stops, you know you're on the next step. You watch your breath. You listen to the water. You listen to the not quite silent night. And you realize it's getting quiet. Too quiet for this many people. Too quiet for a ship that big to have just gone down. That's the cold doing its work. Okay. Now we can move to the second chunk. This is where the voices thin out even more. You start drifting, and the cold starts feeling like warmth. The water has its own voice now. You can hear it through your bones more than your ears. Low, steady, the same note over and over like the inside of a heartbeat. Everything else is fading out. The shouting has thinned to an occasional burst. One man yelling, then a reply that doesn't reach him. After that, only splashes. Then even the splashes stop. You think the wind has dropped, but it's hard to tell. You don't feel wind anymore, only pressure. The surface moves under your chest, the board creaks. You realize your jaw isn't shaking now. That should be good, but it isn't. The shaking kept you alive. Your eyes won't focus right. The stars smear when you blink. Your lashes have frost on them. You can feel the weight of it each time you open and close your eyes. Your breath makes a small cloud that turns to crystals and falls back on your face. You smell salt and metal and the faint oil slick from the ship. The cold no longer burns. It presses, a thick, slow push from every direction. Someone groans nearby. You tilt your head and see the boy. His head has tipped back. His mouth is open. Each breath he takes is a short gasp, and there's a pause between them that keeps getting longer. He's still alive, but only just. You want to tell him something, anything, but your tongue doesn't move when you think the words. You try again. Nothing. You settle for blinking at him, as if that will keep him above water. Your vision tunnels. The horizon disappears. You can only see a small circle, the boy, the plank, the stars above it. The rest of the world goes grey. The sound changes too. The sea isn't loud anymore. It's distant, like you're hearing it through thick glass. You can hear your own pulse instead. Slow, dragging. Each beat heavy as a hammer. You tilt your head forward, and it feels easy. Too easy. The muscles that used to ache are loose now. Warm even. That's a lie the cold tells. It whispers that it's over, that you've done enough. You know what it is, but knowing doesn't stop it. The warmth spreads from your chest to your arms, then to your legs. It feels like relief. You almost sigh. The plank dips. You don't care. You let your cheek rest against it, wood frozen rough against skin. The sound of the ship is gone entirely now. You can't see where it was. Only steam lingering low over the water, glowing faintly from the stars. The sky above looks closer than before, like it's leaning down to listen. The boy makes a sound, a small one, like a cough. Then he goes quiet. His head slips sideways off his board. His arm stays hooked for a moment, then slides free. The splash is small. You watch him drift. You know you should reach for him, but your arms won't. They feel comfortable where they are. Your heartbeat skips once. Then again. The space between beats stretches. You try to inhale, and it feels like your chest forgot the order of things. You get half a breath and stop. The air feels thick, heavier than the water. You blink slow. The stars blur, then sharpen, then blur again. Each time they come back, they seem closer, brighter. One of them moves. No, it's your vision swimming, that's all. You tell yourself that, but it's hard to care whether you're right. The water around you has gone quiet. The last voices are far away now, muffled, more vibration than sound. When you focus on listening, you can hear your own blood moving slower. You didn't know you could hear that. Your body starts to drift lower. Not sinking yet, just settling. The plank tilts with you. You breathe through your mouth. It's automatic now, shallow and lazy. You wonder if your hands are still holding on. You can't feel them, but you see them there. That's enough. A light flashes somewhere out on the horizon. Maybe a flare, maybe lightning, maybe imagination. The sky above it stays the same. You keep looking at that spot because it gives your eyes a job. Your head slides sideways on the plank. Water touches your ear, then your cheek, then half your mouth. You breathe through the other half. The taste is familiar now. Salt and iron. You swallow without thinking. A sound reaches you through the water, a dull, distant boom. Could be another part of the ship collapsing under pressure. Could be thunder. It echoes in your ribs like a drum. You lift your head to look, but it's slow, like lifting a stone. You manage it halfway. The world tilts. Stars above, sea below, no horizon between them. The line is gone. Everything is one color now, dark silver with points of light. You close your eyes for a second, just a second. The warmth in your chest tells you it's fine to rest. You open them again, and you're not sure if any time passed. Maybe none did. The water moves differently under you. Longer waves now, slower, as if the ocean itself is tired. The motion rocks you. It would be comforting if you didn't know what it meant. You hear breathing that isn't yours. You turn your head slightly. A man is still near, maybe 20 feet away. He's lying flat on his back, eyes open to the sky, arms spread. Each rise of his chest is small, but it's there. You stare at him to remind yourself breathing is still possible. After a while, his chest stops rising. You stare longer, waiting for the next one. It doesn't come. You want to close your eyes, but something in you, habit, terror, defiance, keeps them open. The cold air feels thick in your lashes. You blink slowly. Your thoughts start coming apart, short flashes instead of lines. Breath, light, wood, water. The sound of oars comes again, faint, maybe real, maybe memory. You focus on it, willing it closer. You can't tell if it's getting louder or if you're just slipping toward the quiet where everything sounds louder. Your arms slide a little down the plank. You pull them back up. The movement feels far away, like someone else did it for you. Your shoulders ache once and then stop aching completely. You know that's wrong, but you can't remember why. The air smells sharper now, like metal and cold stone. You can't taste the salt anymore. Your lips are numb, your tongue heavy. You try to say boat, and what comes out is a breath with no sound in it. You feel light. Not like floating, like being unhooked. The weight in your chest is gone. Your heartbeat is still there, faint and uneven, but it doesn't bother you. You notice how quiet your thoughts are. The stars above you shimmer again. One of them falls. You follow it down with your eyes until it disappears into the dark water. You think, that's how it looks from up there when we go under. You breathe once more, a small shallow draw of air, and the sound that comes out of you isn't a gasp or a cry. It's something between the two, a small human noise that gets lost immediately in the dark. The minutes become an hour. You can't tell exactly when that happens, only that the stars have shifted and the water that once bit now feels almost gentle. The ocean has learned you. It moves through you like it knows where everything is. Shivering stops first. That part surprises you. One moment your body was still jerking in violent bursts. The next it isn't. The muscles are done. Without that shaking, the air on your face feels oddly still, like the night has exhaled and forgotten to inhale again. You know what it means when the shaking stops. You think of heat like fuel. You've run out. Fingers and toes have already gone. You see your hands on the plank, but they belong to someone else. White, stiff, swollen at the knuckles. The nails have turned pale, the edges grey. The skin looks waxy under starlight. It doesn't hurt. Nothing hurts. It just isn't part of you anymore. Your arms have become heavy lengths of rope. When the current lifts one, it stays bent, the joints reluctant to straighten. The tendons under the skin have gone hard. It takes both effort and imagination to move them. The same with your legs. Every time the water tilts you, Your limbs trail and twist like they're floating free. Breathing has changed. The chest doesn't expand all the way. The muscles that do that job are as tired as the rest. Each breath is small, shallow. You start counting them because that's the only rhythm left. In, small, cold, sharp. Out, warm fog that freezes on your lip. The pauses between get longer. The people closest to you are fading in different ways. One man still mutters, low and steady, as if talking keeps him alive. His voice has no shape to the words anymore. It's only vibration. A woman farther off is quiet, except for the occasional sigh when the water lifts her. Others are already still, heads forward, chins to chest, life belts keeping them upright like sleepwalkers. Hours pass this way. The sea changes color as the stars tilt west. The black becomes a flat iron gray. The wind has turned colder, if that's possible. Frost clings to the wood you're holding. It crusts your sleeve, where water has dried and frozen again. Each time a small wave breaks over your face, the crust melts, runs, and freezes in a new pattern. You are being coated, inch by inch. Your heart is slower now. You can feel it sometimes miss a beat, then restart, then pause too long again. Every time it does, you sense the world get a little farther away. Sounds receding, light softening. The world is not going dark, it's going distant. You look around and realize how many of the shapes that were people are no longer moving. They float upright for a while, buoyed by the cork belts or trapped air in coats, until the weight of soaked fabric pulls them sideways. When that happens, they roll gently, arms open, the sea rocking them like empty coats. The water doesn't fight with them. It just takes them in. The color of skin changes first around the lips and fingertips. Blue, then a dull purple, then gray. Faces smooth out. Eyes stay open because the lids have frozen that way. The cold stiffens everything it touches. Joints set, mouths half open. In daylight, they'll look peaceful. In starlight, they look like marble. You can still hear things. The sea never stops. Small noises, cloth rubbing, a faint creak of timber, the whisper of a current moving past an obstacle. Sometimes, a sudden thump when two pieces of wreckage meet. The human sounds are nearly gone. When one comes, a gasp or cough or half-formed word, it's shocking, too loud for the silence around it. Every few minutes your mind slips and you think you see motion. A hand raised, a head turning. Then you realize it's the water. It lifts everything evenly. All the dead look alive for a second at a time. Time has lost meaning. You start measuring it by breaths, then by heartbeats, then not at all. Your jaw has locked half open. The hinge won't close. The tip of your tongue is numb. You can't swallow properly. Each new wave pushes a little more salt water into your mouth. You let it. The body doesn't argue anymore. Somewhere to the east, the sky begins to fade from black to blue. Dawn doesn't break here. It leaks in. The light doesn't bring warmth. It only shows what the night was hiding. Hundreds of shapes spread out across a gray plain of water, drifting together and apart. Bits of furniture, hats, shoes, people. The cold has made them all the same color. Your own skin matches theirs now. The parts above the water are pale and crusted with frost. The parts below are numb and heavy. You try one last deep breath to see if you can, but the lungs don't fill. You cough once weak, a dry sound, and a sharp pain flares in your chest. Then nothing. The ocean begins to roll slower, like it's tired of the work. The waves stretch longer, wider. Each one that passes under you takes a little of your buoyancy. Your body is changing density. The blood thickens, the air in you cools and contracts. The water will win soon. You blink for what feels like the 100th time and realize your eyes have frost at the edges. It doesn't matter. There's nothing left to see but sea and sky and a smear of orange on the horizon. A gull circles once, far above. It doesn't cry. It just rides the updraft from the cooling steam and drifts away. You hear one last human sound, a faint splash, maybe a boat oar, maybe a body slipping free of its coat. You can't tell which, and the distinction doesn't matter anymore. Your final breath is half air, half water. It doesn't burn, it just stops. The muscles in your chest release. The hand on the plank lets go without you deciding to let go. The water closes the gap. You slide under quietly. No struggle, no gasp. Just gravity and salt and stillness. By the time the first light spreads across the Atlantic, the sea has gone still. The wind that tore at faces through the night has fallen away. What's left is a glassy plain, grey-blue, with faint ripples that sound more like breathing than movement. The horizon is lined with smoke and low steam. The remnants of the ship's breath still clinging to the air. Bits of debris float in lazy circles, planks, chairs, lifebelts, a child's ball, a half-burned lantern. The sea holds them all gently now, as if the violence was a misunderstanding. Out to the east, the silhouette of a ship begins to take shape. Carpathia. The name will mean mercy in the newspapers. To the people standing on her deck, it means disbelief. They look through binoculars and see no ship, only the field of what used to be one. As Carpathia draws closer, the crew rows small boats into the debris field. Oars dip silently, cutting the mirror surface. The air smells of salt, oil, and burnt coal. Each stroke makes a small hollow sound that echoes off nothing. They listen for voices and hear none. The silence is enormous. When the first boat reaches what was once the center of the wreck, they begin to find what the night left behind. People, yes, but also objects. A violin case, a woman's shoe, a lifebelt marked RMS Titanic, a folded deck chair that somehow never broke apart. The men in the boats handle them all the same way, carefully, as though the wood and cloth might shatter if touched wrong. Every now and then, they think they hear something, a knock, a call, but it's only the creak of timber or the small groan of a shifting current. The ocean gives back nothing but reflection. By full morning, the light has flattened everything. The water glitters, cruelly bright, the kind of light that makes eyes tear. The men in the boats keep working, quiet, deliberate. They speak in half whispers, names of stations, numbers of people, words like gone and found that hang in the air and drop away. From Carpathia's deck, survivors watch in silence. Wrapped in blankets, faces pale, they lean over the rails and search the distance. Some call softly, not expecting answers. Others stare without speaking at all. The only sound is the slow dip of oars and the slap of water against the hull. The Carpathia turns toward New York. Behind it, the sea rolls once more. Ordinary, endless, pretending it has nothing to confess. The sky clears to a color too clean for what it hides. The field of wreckage stretches behind them until it becomes nothing but dots of light and shadow, absorbed by distance. By noon, the Atlantic looks empty again. The horizon lies smooth, silver blue, and the wind whispers like it's rehearsing an apology. Somewhere beneath, the cold holds everything it took. It doesn't bury, it keeps. You could sail over this place 1,000 times and never know. But the ocean knows. It remembers every heartbeat it borrowed, every voice it silenced, every breath it turned to bubbles and let go. If you're still listening and you've made it this far, like, comment, and subscribe. Help this story find another soul. Because the sea never forgets, and neither should we.